that a number of people have been killed.
Members have been gathering at local
to us from the scene
to become divided over this suspected act.
Germany, a country known for its strong economy, rich and diverse culture, and safe streets, a place often considered one of the best countries to live in. Or wait, have certain definitions started to change? Are Germany's streets still safe? The number of immigrants in Germany is increasing every day. Some citizens express concerns that the presence of large numbers of immigrants and refugees is restricting their freedoms and making them feel unsafe, both on the streets and in public transportation. On the other hand, racist protests, attacks on foreigners, and far-right rhetoric are on the rise. In fact, for the first time since World War II, a far-right political party has won a state election in Germany. Which of these two interconnected issues do you think is more dangerous? Today, Germany hosts over 1 million refugees from Ukraine and 2.5 million refugees from around the world, primarily from Syria and Afghanistan. This makes Germany the third largest refugee hosting country globally and the top host within the European Union. Just last year, Germany provided protection to approximately 300,000 refugees. Migration to Germany is correspondingly high. In the first 7 months of 2024 alone, the net migration of foreign nationals reached 292,000. On the other hand, the net migration of German nationals during the same period was minus 43,000. Meaning while foreign nationals are moving into Germany, Germans are leaving their country to settle elsewhere. When it comes to irregular migration, Germany is also among the leading countries. It ranks as the second country in the EU with the highest number of irregular migrants who arrive without proper documentation and are not registered within the system. To understand today's circumstances, we need to go back in time. Germany's intensive relationship with refugees began in 2015. That year, then-Chancellor Angela Merkel opened Germany's borders to migrants fleeing civil wars, predominantly Syrians. Between 2015 and 2016, 1,220,000 asylum seekers arrived in Germany seeking protection. This represented 47.3% of all applications submitted within the EU during those years. Despite the high influx of refugees, they were generally well received across Germany at the time, and this phenomenon was termed the German miracle. Internationally, this was seen as proof that the country had truly moved beyond the legacy of National Socialism and World War II, shedding remnants of xenophobic sentiments from that era. The Telegraph highlighted this sentiment, stating, "Germans gathered by the hundreds at train stations on Sundays to welcome refugees arriving in their cities as though they were long-lost friends or returning war heroes." However, public opinion began to shift in the following months. In November 2015, a survey asked the public what they feared most if large numbers of refugees continued arriving in Germany. The most common response, at 87%, was the fear of increased support for right-wing parties. So, did the fear come true? Starting in 2015, the number of migrants and refugees coming to Germany decreased significantly by 2017. Then, with the pandemic process, this rate reached the lowest levels between 2020 to 2021. In 2022 to 2023, with the Ukraine-Russia war, Germany accepted approximately 1 million refugees again. The German government's migration data show that 13.7 million non-German migrants entered the country between 2015 and 2023. While all this was going on, changes in German politics started to signal from the first day. The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, party, which was founded in 2013 as a reaction to the financial crisis in the Eurozone, increased its vote rates during the refugee crisis in 2015. Recognizing that a significant part of the population was worried about the increase in the number of refugees and migrants, the AfD created an anti-immigrant language and spread the idea that foreigners were invading Germany in order to turn this worried mass into its own voter base. For a long time, the AfD was seen as a party of reaction votes. However, recent polls show that voters find the AfD's policies credible and vote for the party consciously. In fact, 97% of AfD voters said that they approve of the party's desire to limit the entry of foreigners and refugees into Germany. Another feature that distinguishes the AfD party from other parties is that it receives the most votes from young people between the ages of 18 to 24. 38% of young people in this age group voted for the far-right AfD. This rate means an increase of 15% compared to the 2019 elections. The normalization of far-right ideology among young people poses a threat to the future of free and pluralistic German democracy. In the last elections in Germany, the AfD put up posters with the slogan Summer, Sun, Return Migration all over the state of Thuringia. To keep the meaning secret, the posters also depicted an aeroplane decorated with the words Deportation Airline. In the election results, the AfD was the largest party in Thuringia with around 33% of the vote, while in neighboring Saxony it came second with around 31%. To illustrate the extent of the danger, one only has to look at the leader of the AfD in the former East German state of Thuringia, Björn Höcke. Höcke has been convicted twice before for knowingly using the Nazi slogan Everything for Germany at political events. According to a recent survey conducted by the Racism Monitor of the German Research Center for Integration and Migration, racist attitudes are widespread. Almost half of the population, 49%, still believes in the existence of human races. 1/3 of the population, 33%, believes that some peoples or ethnic groups are naturally more hardworking than others. 90% of the population believe that racism exists in Germany, and 61% believe that racism is everyday life in Germany. The killing of 3 people by a 26-year-old Syrian man in a knife attack in Solingen in recent months was perhaps the last straw in Germany's recent migrant turmoil. With migrants arriving on the one hand and the frightening rise and pressure of the far right on the other, the government has now started to take harsh measures. As part of the tough measures, Germany has introduced new controls at all land borders and imposed restrictions on a wide area of free movement known as the Schengen area. In addition to border controls with Austria, Switzerland, the Czech Republic and Poland, the government also introduced internal border controls with France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Belgium and Denmark. If people who have applied for asylum in another EU member state but are still trying to enter Germany are detected, they will be sent back to that country. Until the procedure is completed, the migrants will be assigned a permanent place of residence. They will not be housed in migrant centers across the country, as is currently the case, but in centers at the border or in special detention facilities. According to European Union rules, member states are authorized to temporarily reintroduce border control at internal borders in the event of a serious threat to public policy or internal security. However, this must be implemented as a last resort. Germany's initiation of these controls has been received negatively and with concern by the other member states as well as by neighboring states. The relationship between migrants and Germany is not all negative. At some points Germany is dependent on immigrants and immigrants depend on Germany. If it were not for immigrants, Germany's population would have shrunk by more than 5 million people between 2000 and 2020. But the population increased by 1.7 million people. To some of you, this may sound negative. After all, the population has increased, but not the German population, but people of different nationalities from different countries. You might think that this would lead to more problems in the country. But this interpretation is quite wrong. In order for each generation to renew itself, the fertility rate must be 2.1. This means that the average number of children a woman will have in her lifetime should be 2.1. Women in Germany have an average of 1.5 children, and half of all people in Germany are over 45 years old. To put it more simply, Germany is currently experiencing labor shortages in many sectors. So much so that the government has made an agreement to import 250,000 skilled and semi-skilled labor from Kenya, in contrast to the harsh treatment of immigrants and foreigners. Because they need it. While they are in such need of labor, it is much healthier for immigrants to contribute to the population while living in Germany as German citizens. Without a population, systems collapse. Build a perfect car, put the best engine in it, use the best of everything and create a perfect system. What good is that car unless you put petrol in it? It rusts where it is, it rots away over the years. The petrol in a country is the young population. If Germany continues to pursue harsh policies under the influence of right-wing extremists and racists, this will pose a grave danger for the future of Germany, for the non-German citizens living in the country and for the whole world, especially Europe. The authorities cannot, of course, ignore the public demand for more control over immigration, but the direct adoption of the racist views espoused by the AfD would be the beginning of a catastrophe for Germany in every respect. While all this is going on, much more difficult times are ahead for Germany. The current coalition government has failed to win a vote of no confidence, and with the far right on the rise, early elections will be held in February. How do you think the future of Germany will be?